Hello, everybody. Happy Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Although Hanukkah just ended. Okay, but welcome. This is the Christmas edition of Dead Money with Dan Arfin. Now, by the time everybody hears this, it will not be Christmas anymore. Or actually, maybe it will be. Is Christmas Day the first day of Christmas, or is it the 12th? I don't know. Either way, we have a very special show today. We have another guest who I'll be introducing momentarily. But first, today, we are also welcoming our first ever live audience member in the Dead Money studio. My older brother, Scott Arfin, is joining us today from Los Angeles, California. So if you hear any loud laughter or yelling or spitting during the show, you'll know why.
What up, Dead Money fans?
As for our guest, it's going to be a good one today, folks. We've got poker dealer Chad Phillips with us today. Chad and I don't go way back, but we go back. He's been dealing to me for years. But before he became a dealer, Chad had also certainly played his share of poker. In fact, he was also a pro poker player. He did so for 12 years, specializing in limit Texas Hold'em. My goodness. Now, the reason Chad switched to dealing is because he didn't quite have the stomach to play no limit Hold'em all the time. So once no limit took over the poker world as the mainstay, he shifted gears. Chad is also an animal man. He's got 3 cats and 6 tortoises. Mammals and reptiles. I once had 2 tortoises, female Russian tortoises. I gave them away about 10 years ago so they could live outdoors, but we're not going to talk about Yertle the turtle today. We're going to talk poker. And Chad is a hell of a dealer, too. He's very energized in the box. He pays attention. He engages the players without talking too much. He's fast. He also gives the impression that he's on speed while he's dealing, but he's not. That's just the way he is. But my favorite thing about Chad is how opinionated he is. And he would have fit right in with the New York sports talk radio hosts I grew up listening to. So I'm ready to get blitzed here because Chad comes from Boston, Massachusetts. So he's a mass hall. But his Boston accent isn't overly annoying and stupid sounding. So we're going to have a good chat with Chad today. So Chad, thanks for spending your Christmas morning in my studio office. Welcome to the show. What's up?
What's going on, Dan? Thanks for that intro, man. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. My family's all still back in Mass, and my girlfriend is with her family today, and I work. So I am here at the Dead Money studio to talk some poker.
All right, sounds like you're kind of a loner today. So limit Hold'em. How big did you play?
Mostly 10-20. I could easily book a $500-$600 win in 10-20 most nights, and 20-40 was there if the game was good, and I wasn't afraid to play 4-8 because it's fun to be the best player at the table and to not have much risk when you're playing.
Were you trying to do what Rounders said to do, which is win 1 big bet an hour?
I was really preferring 2 big bets an hour in the smaller games, but in 20-40, 1 big bet an hour was good back then. $40 an hour was a nice little income back in 02, 03, 04, so...
It's funny when Rounders first came out and everybody sees that opening scene and Matt Damon's giving the opening narration. He says, your goal is to win 1 big bet an hour. And I think most people interpreted that as an adjective, like a big bet, just win 1 big pot an hour. That's what I think a lot of people thought he meant. But he was talking about limit Hold'em, and he was talking about winning 1 big bet an hour because limit was... it was the late 90s when that movie came out. Was limit still the really big game? When did no limit really start to take over cash games?
Black Friday-ish feels like kind of when the game started to phase. What was that, 09?
Black Friday?
Yeah, when the internet shut down, basically.
That was April 15th, 2011.
No, there was an initial one, though. Something happened initially in 08 when NetTeller got shut down. And
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was in New York when that happened. I still had a job. I was still working in Manhattan, and yeah, I use NetTeller all the time to transfer in and out of full tilt poker, and that threw a wrench in everything. So there was still a lot of live limit going on in Vegas at that time.
Yes. The Mirage was loaded with limit. The Bellagio, the Wynn had 2, 3, 8, 16 games that went every single night when I first moved here. The 1-3 no limit at the Wynn was played with a $3 turtle chips, we call them. They're orange, ugly turtle chips. No max buy-in, And the bets were discussed as if you bet $39, it wasn't $39. It was 13 chips. That's how everything was done. So if you bet $38, the whole table was befuddled at what you just did because you didn't bet in the $3 increment that was expected in that game then.
Are you saying the bets were all verbal?
No, but that's how the dealer would even call the bets. If I put in, a $36 bet, they'd say 12 chips.
Oh, they just announced it as chips. There was constant announcing going on from the dealer?
No, not necessarily. It wasn't like the bets now are announced, but at the same time, like if somebody asked how much that is, they would tell you how many chips that it was.
Okay, then they just do a lot of eye measuring too.
It was a very weird game. Everybody had a lot of cash behind then. There was no max buy-in on the 1-3 no limit. I got one of the best stories I ever have from poker is I came here, the first time I ever came here with two of my best friends, okay? One of my best friends had $2K in his pocket, and the other one came with like $20,000. And he bought in for the entire $2K. And we're going to make this story sweet and short. He flop bottom 2 pair in about his 8th hand on the 9-3-4 flop. And my other friend that came with the $20K had the set of 9s. They put the entire $2,000 in on the flop, 9-4-3 rainbow, and my buddy was grubbing $100 a day for the next 7 days.
So wait a second. So you're saying that the transition was very sudden from limit to no limit?
It was pretty quick. The limit games just started dying quickly.
Well, how did net teller shutting down cause limit hold'em to die out in Vegas?
It didn't. It was just coincidence. That's about when things started to get hurt.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was like, wait. Well, did all the no limit players were online? They flooded to the live games
well, it might have had a little bit of
no. It was just the timing. Okay, I mean, you think people just got bored of limit or realized how much more exciting no limit is?
I think people realized that they could get the money faster in no limit, so they transitioned. That was the initial thought of like, why am I doing this so slowly? I can just take a stack in one hand.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Of course, they are going to take your stack in one hand too, more than just a few times a year. But you didn't like no limit. I mean, were you just not good at no limit, or do you just not like what you have to deal with all the time playing no limit? Because it's fucked up.
It's messed up, man. It's messed up. But, I feel like I'm one of the best ever no limit tournament players when I have 150 blinds and there's no like ridiculous pros. When it's just a normal field, I dominate. But then when it gets to the point of everybody's got 20 to 30 big blinds, I don't know how to play poker anymore, and I'm scared and I'm trying not to lose, and it's such a difficult, like I know I can lose my stack in one hand, and I don't want to lose my stack in one hand because I know I can sit here longer and ladder up the money, and am I good enough to win this tournament? I'm not Mike Zelker. Mike Zelker, gosh, he's such a good player, even just watching him, and a couple of episodes you had him on here, I've really enjoyed listening to Mike, and he had some very good insight onto who he is as a poker player, and me and him are completely opposite poker players. So everything Mike said, I don't feel inside that I can play poker that way. So I just like to do it. Right now, mixed games is what I play. Limit.
Where around town is there a good mixed game?
Just online is where I play. That new site, Phenom Poker,
Phenom Poker? I haven't even heard of this.
It's a pretty good site. It's pretty good. They're building it from the ground up. It's a gentleman that plays in the 80-160 mix won a few bracelets. I'm not even going to say any names here, but it doesn't matter. And he built the site, and they're building it from the ground up, and it's a very, very good site.
I hear mixed games are incredibly soft, like always. There are probably very few pros and probably very few like middle of the pack players who are like decent but not great, which is what No Limit Hold'em is flooded with a lot of now. A lot of players are they're okay. You know, you got to respect the fact that they can beat the fish. They're going to win money. They're taking money off the table, but they're not like difficult to play against. I mean, it's getting more and more boring to me, at least. 2-5 no limit. I mean, just waiting to either run good or get your little edges against them, or waiting for the fish to come in and spew. But I mean, you're doing no limit all the time. I mean, how do you see how the games look like? Like, are they getting? God, me, I'm so fucked up.
The no limit games.
I mean, as you're doing no limit year in and year out, like, how have the games changed from the dealer's perspective? Like, you see it all the time.
Well, first to state on the mixed games, the variance is so high that it can look like you're not playing good or you're playing great because of how big the variance is. You're always drawing, you're always guessing, And, you just got to play strong over time, and it's that one big bet an hour, and just make that good fold on the end to save that bet and understand what people are doing. And this lady isn't bluffing. Like, I know I have a big hand, but she hasn't done this ever. My 8 low can't be good. She just made a 7. It's just that simple. As for the no limit games, oh man. Dealing has gotten a lot harder over the last 12 years. These 2-5 games are nitty, man. They are nitty, some of them.
Yeah, that's basically another way of saying what I just said.
Yeah, it's just, nobody's doing anything. Nobody's trying to do anything. Personally, for me, it's okay because I'm a fast dealer and I'm in a very high class establishment I deal at, and it's $1 a hand, and it's okay. Like, I like watching the poker though. That's why I'm dealing. And when I end up dealing 4 straight nitty games, it's like nothing's happening. And then you go deal a tournament, a nightly tournament where there's no skill at all, and it's like, wow, I just dealt for 5 hours and I really haven't even seen a good hand yet. So it gets boring and depressing sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going crazy for a good reason. Last week, Chad dealt to me, and he said in the box, because we knew we were going to be doing this, he's like, we got to get at least one hand to talk about. I was like, I know. Did we get a hand to talk about? No, not even fucking close. I played, I think, one hand, took it down pre, or maybe one with a C-bet. Like, other than that, it was just garbage, and I don't want to sit there and do nothing. I'm trying to do shit all the time at 2-5, but you know something? When you're dealt garbage, you have to do nothing. And if, I don't know, 20, 30% of the time you're dealt total crap, or whether it's more than that, I mean, that can go on for hours at a time. So, sorry about that, Chad. I wanted to have a hand to talk about, but I'm not punting my stack just so we have a hand to talk about.
Well, I got $1. I got $1 from you at least.
Yeah, right.
It all worked out for me.
At least I was like, all right, yeah. At least he got some money from it. I mean, and that table was an interesting game. I mean, we put the straddle on, and the game was kind of deep, but the players actually weren't that bad. It was actually just more of like a soft 5-10 game because it's not very deep and the players are just so. But for a 2-5, this is actually kind of competitive because I agree, the games are nitty and it's lifeless. It's a bunch of zombies wandering out there waiting for the nuts, which is like a human they can devour. I mean, I'd
like to think that if I got fired from my job tomorrow, that I could go sit in these 2-5 games and terrorize them. I've watched everybody play. I can anticipate 99% of every player in the room's action before they make it. And
I can tell you're always trying to do that when you're dealing.
And with that being said, I still don't have the stomach for the game. And I know that I would sit down and make mistakes and not be able to execute what I'm seeing that I'm watching. When you're this, fly on the wall, it's very easy to make decisions and it's very easy to see exactly what's going on. But when you're in the moment, it's not at first. But like for you, it is because you're a comfortable player now. You're comfortable with the bankroll. You're comfortable losing 10,000 if it comes to that in the course of a night. Like my decisions are going to start changing as I start losing, which is not correct. Like if I could just put 100K on the table and say, okay, let's play. Like maybe I could think straighter and understand that this is a lifetime bankroll kind of swaying, but it's not. I put 1,500, I lost the whole thing. Now I'm down. I'm in for my 3rd buy-in and I haven't made a mistake yet, and it's very difficult to cope with. It's very hard to...
So it just probably tilts you and stresses you, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Because what you... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm weak. I'm weak, mentally weak. I know I am. That's why I played limit, and I don't want... Even the stocks, I'm scared to have too many stocks because I'm scared of it. Like, I don't want any big swings.
It makes sense. I mean, you got to be fucking crazy to think that it's okay to just take these swings all the time. But what you said, it's like, when you're losing, you start changing your decisions and that's not correct. And it's like, yeah, it makes me wonder now, how many players are adjusting the decisions based on their current results, which is the single craziest fucking thing, stupidest thing you can do.
Or like, the previous hand, or like what they played with that guy yesterday's hand. Like, I had that 9-6 yesterday against him, so I had to play it against him again today. Like, stuff like that. It's just insane.
That's the thinking people are using. It's like, and in a way, there are no results. You just have to make the correct decision. Now, we know that results can influence your decision because it's influencing another player's decision, but you don't start changing the way like you want to attack and make money because you're stuck this or you're winning this amount. I mean, if you don't want to play deep, you can buy in shallow, and if you have a stop win result, right? I guess once you get to this number, you're not going to continue to play. you're only trying to win up to this amount, even if it's in a really amazing game, right? You probably get really tempted in that situation to stay if you have a whale. But yeah, that's no limit. It's on the edge all the time.
You can go play some 1-3 for an hour too. Like, you pick up your 3,800 and say, all right, I'm going to go back, get back on the list, and you can do that. But you stay in that game, Dan. You got to stay in that game. That's the problem, is you have to stay in that game.
Well, when I play 1-3, I've played a few more hours of lately, it just seems to be a lot more entertaining. Would you say it's a lot more interesting to deal? There's a lot more action, a lot more things are happening, as you said?
Give me a 1-3 game any day, Dan. I will deal 1-3 all night long. I am an absolute machine, and I just know how to keep the game in gear. Like, dealers that are behind me, I feel like they make out a lot in these 1-3 games, because when I sit down, these guys don't even know how to act. They don't know how to put their blind in. They're not ready. And then I'm like a drill sergeant with them in the box. And after 30 minutes, by the time I leave, they're sitting up and they're ready to play. And the game is engaged. That's what I want. I want people engaged playing poker. I don't care their skill level. And I don't want anybody being rude to anybody ever. It's just, top class establishment. And that's how I view every night at work. I expect too much. I have to sometimes stop and breathe, because I literally expect perfection out of... Even if you're a bad player, I still expect perfection for the level you're at. Like, poker's a game of 1 to 100. Within 10 minutes, I can figure out kind of where you're at on that 1 to 100. If you're at a 6, I can get you to a 15 really fast. If you're a 20, I can get you to a 25 really fast. I'm going to figure out exactly where you are in that poker scape, and I'm going to increase you just a little bit of knowledge of where it needs to be kind of placed.
Now, when I dealt 1-3, I felt like I was babysitting most of the time. I mean, how are you able to not want to scream at the top of your lungs every 5 or 10 minutes? Because I once dealt a hand at 1-3. There were 5 players to act on one street. They all acted out of turn. It doesn't get to you?
No, it does. But like I said, I'm like a drill sergeant in there. Like, bang, no, you got to wait. You're changing the action here. You can't do that, okay?
Right.
Just hang in there. Right. I'll let you know. And then, like,
you teach them.
I'm literally teaching the entire way. I'm cueing every single decision. This is a good time for this conversation, too, because it's Christmas. And this is the biggest, my last 2 night shifts. Last night, 13 cash tables in my 8 hours. Okay, 13 cash tables, and 7 of them were 1-3 games. And 5 of the 1-3, I had 5 brand new poker players. Not poker players, people that were in town for the holidays to just come play poker for 3 hours. Literally no clue what they're doing or why they're putting money in or why they're calling. Like, I'm even trying to tell this lady, I'm like, when you play in first position, because she limped for 3 and folded like 13 consecutive times. And I was trying to see when you're on the button, because then she folded on the button. And I'm like, oh, see, it's easier to call now for 3 because these people can't raise. They're already all in. I'm like, but when you're first, somebody's going to raise and then you're going to fold. But I can't coach in the box. But again, this table was all brand new people. So I was just trying to give her one piece of information. She was a 2. I was trying to get her to a 3 before I left that day, And
thinking about it now, I would certainly give them the cues, like you said, from time to time. But when I'm doing the small stakes, I wasn't like making a point to be like the drill sergeant and just get really aggressive and fast with it, because they're all relatively new or inexperienced. It's going to be really slow if you don't do that. So basically, you're just going to make more money.
Got to get to 20, buddy. Got to get to 20. That's all I think is I got to get to 20.
20? You deal 20 hands a down?
No. No, $20 I'm talking.
$20. That makes more sense.
I definitely deal 20 hands a down. We've done it in 2-5. I'm probably...
That's how bad the games are?
23, 24.
Oh, it's terrible.
I had a bet with one of the Euros, 22 and a half, $5. If $5 he gave me. That wasn't a bet. 0 to win 5 was the bet. If I dealt 22 and a half hands, he gave me 5 when I left. And he gave me $5 15, 16 straight times that I dealt to him.
I would always try to hopefully make $15 a down when I dealt. And oftentimes I wouldn't get there, but I would come pretty close. Sometimes you go over, of course. So you are hoping for a number that's 33% higher than mine. And if you're a 33% better dealer than I, then you're a pretty good dealer. You think you're a top dealer in this city?
I know I am, man. I just I work so hard at it. It's all I know. Like I'm a professional. Like I'm not here to do this for fun, and I'm not even really here to do this for money much anymore. Like you know what the sad thing is? I'm here to do it for benefits at this point in life. Like I have to get my 1,500 hours. That's all. 1,500 hours is what I got at work, and that's what I'm going to work for the next 10 years. And try and pick my spots of when it's good to work. And like last night was a very difficult shift, but it's very profitable for me to see what I'm able to kind of do with some of these new players. And Christmas holiday was great. Everybody's so nice and generous and friendly, and nobody was out of line yesterday, man. Nobody at any of my tables was out of line or rude, or it was just very pleasant poker at every table I dealt. 5-5 Rock PLO, man. Just put me in that box and just leave me there until let me deal 5 hours in a 5-5 game and then go home.
So as you know, this Dead Money podcast is very therapeutic. So, or it's, you know, it has therapy designed. So here's a chance for you to have some therapy. So what tilts you the hardest about other dealers, other fuck-ups they make that you want to, like, bang their head against the wall for making that? But, like, you're the drill sergeant. Like, you're literally Arlie Ermy in Full Metal Jacket, and other dealers are the privates. What do you want to say to them?
Dude, the racks. It's unbelievable what they want to do with the racks. They put these spacers everywhere. Like, I just want chips in the rack. I want them up high. I'm literally looking to save milliseconds of efficiency with every single move that I make. There's no reason to put all this here. Dealers don't want to sell chips to the players. Like, yeah, don't sell the whole rack to the players, but a guy sits down, boom, pop a stack in front of him. Here's your 100. He slides you 100. Now you're playing poker. You put the chip light on and you move on. Like, just do every single thing you do to make your game run quicker and more efficiently. And I mean, the racks are just, it's unbelievable. The even great dealers, man, there's 1,000 dealers at my casino, and I want to say maybe 12 know how to run a perfect rack. Like, it's
what is a perfect rack supposed to look like?
Even just a fill. Even just getting a fill. Like, getting a perfect fill. Like, you want to overfill the rack with a $1 and $2 chips so you don't have to fill the rack again. Like, a perfect rack is just... A rack is in 20 different states, you know? It can be... Like, if we're really going to analyze perfect technical rack, like, you could sit down to an empty rack, a medium rack, a half-full rack. Like, you always want to be able to do what you got to do with the rack. Like, you sit down when I sit down at a 25, a green chip game or higher, I have to fill the rack 95% of the time. It's not lower than that. It's every single time I sit at a high limit because the dealers don't know what to do. They want to keep this stock, like, we're playing 100, 200, and they want to make sure they have 10 black chips in the rack. Like, fill that rack with $5 chips, $1 chips, maybe not even $1 chips. Some of these tables don't want $1 chips. It's an insult to them. They're tipping fives minimum. There's a pre-tip. There's a pre-tip of, you know, a quarter on most of the bigger games now. So a lot of them aren't tipping. But when they are tipping, it's not $1, you know? They want a big pot. They're not going to throw you $1. They already know you've been pre-tipped for that down. So you've made a good stake. It's fair. A very fair $25 stake for your 30 minutes in that table with potential for tips. But so that rack should have 500 in red and 1,000 in green. And that's it. That's what you need. If somebody throws you a black chip, how are you going to break this black chip? Like, with green and red. Like, you sit down and there's 40 red and 150 blue that hasn't been used, one chip, and 13 dealers have sat here now, 14 dealers, 15 dealers, and I guarantee you 3 of them have filled the rack and they just get 100 red and put it back in the rack. Like, I don't know what they do, Dan. I don't even know. I don't know how some of these dealers even get through a night of work.
When I was dealing, I mean, I kept the chips spaced out in 20s. And other than that, though, I didn't pay attention to any of the finer points of the rack. I mean, there's a whole art to dealing poker. I mean, this is even about the game itself. This is just about...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, you do have the money in front of you, and it's a significant part of the job. And when you said the rack, the first thing I thought of is just the players, the dealers who sit down and spend, like, a lot of time fucking around with the rack when they should be dealing, and they should be doing the rack while the action's going around the table.
There's no such thing as fucking around with the rack. There's no such thing. Like, you sit down and you deal cards. That's it. You don't think. You don't look at the rack. You don't. And the rack should be what it is. Like, I sit down, the deal's like, the rack's up $2. Like, okay, I don't need that information, dude. I'm gonna count the rack too. And if the rack is wrong, I'm gonna tell a supervisor. And you know, here's my biggest thing. And this is 70% of dealers. Okay, this is like becoming common. They want to put 3 blue chips or 4 blue chips on top of the brown to show me 10. So when I sit down, it's 40 brown, 40 brown, and then there's 7 brown chips. So they put 6 blue on top of that to make it 20. They want to show me a $100 stack. The first thing I do when I sit down, I literally haven't even sat down yet. I've pulled those 6 blue off the top and put them back on the blue side. Another thing, if the rack's up $1, you know what they do? They put the dollar in the well. So when I sit down, there's $1 in the well. The opening slip, okay? The opening slip, they want to leave it and fold in the rack. The opening slip, when the table gets opened, it goes back with the thing. I don't want to open, and they fold it 23 times too. So it's crumpled up and folded and stuffed in the rack for no reason. And this is, 20 dealers have sat down to this situation now, and here I am. This table's been open 10 and a half hours, and I sit down, and it's like, I have to fix this situation now.
Is this what I sound like when you're listening to me? Because I was listening to you.
I didn't know this is. I thought we were going to talk about poker. We're going to talk about the rack. I mean, it's okay though.
We'll talk about. You want to talk poker? Let's talk.
I'm
poker.
almost done here.
Right.
Let's finish this rack.
That's what happens in therapy. You can't believe how much you have to say about certain things. Like it's like you would have never guessed you'd have this much to say about it. All right, so go ahead, keep going. The rack.
The money. They can't even. They want to take. They want to take money, and they like one person gives them 100. They fold 100 and put it in. Now this guy gives 200. They fold that 200 and put it in. Like they don't readdress the 100 and fold it and square it because. I don't know why. They just so now you sit down and there's 8 different times a bill has been put in the rack. Like you don't sell out the rack either. Like you've got a full rack. Somebody sits down with 1,000. You don't give them 9 black chips and a stack of red. You give them 1 stack of red and maybe one black chip. If you want the rack balanced going away. The black goes like if you have a full rack, you don't get rid of all the black. If your rack is almost empty and you know you're going to have to fill it, then okay, you can now sell the black chips.
Let's talk to the audience for a second. Scott, are you getting all this?
This is one of my favorite topics, actually. That's what I really am concerned with, is the organization of the chips in the rack at the poker table and whether or not the previous dealer did a good job of setting it up for the next dealer.
The spacer thing is the worst, though. They want to put, 20, spacer, 20, spacer, 5, spacer, 5. And then they have that in 2 things. And now this one is, there's only 17 blue chips odd left. So it's 20, spacer, 5, spacer, 5, spacer, 5, spacer, 2. So like I really need to see that? Like you don't think I can see that there's 17 chips when you have, without any spacers there? You don't think I can tell there's 17 chips there? I mean, they want to show it to me. So now what do? What happens? Every single hand, they have to move a spacer to do their next action. So they've created an entire action for themselves for no reason.
You should give a seminar to dealers about on the rack.
I could definitely do so. There's no way around it. And I've only given you about 4 things. I have more. I can keep going with this, but I don't want to.
All right.
Let's move on to some poker topics.
Let's move on.
Can I rip you for your last ripping of yourself?
Go ahead. We love ripping things.
So Dan played the worst hand of his life last month. He played the worst hand in a 1-3 game. He had the old ace-jack, and he called again, and he called, and he was scared or something. He played like I would have played it because he was scared.
Well, you're not good at No Limit, so if that's the way you would have played it, then I don't want to play the way you would have played it.
You're probably right. But I would like to state one thing on this matter. Whether Dan probably did play this hand wrong. I'm not going to say he didn't. He shouldn't be playing like that. That's not.
I had a chance to stack the guy. I mean, at like every point in the hand, I could have started the path towards stacking him and just never took it.
Okay, and now that's where I'm going to correct you. Is that you did not have any chance to stack this guy. This guy had the tweener hand, and he wanted to know if he was winning. He's sitting there betting. He wants you to call. He wants his ace-jack to be good. The second you tell him it's not good, he is going to fold his hand. He knows he's not that strong. He knows he can be beat. He just wants to be ahead. He doesn't know how to check here. He has top pair. The second you give him a clue that he's behind, you win.
Well, we got to give some context first. It's simple. Just to recap this hand really quickly, there came an under the gun raise to 20, all right, from some white guy. This is a very big open, but at 1-3, it's not that crazy. And there's a call, and I call with ace-king, and then one of the blinds calls. So I don't 3-bet to ace-king, even though it's an incredibly standard 3-bet. Ridiculously standard 3-bet. Okay, so we go 4 ways to the flop. I think it came ace-queen little.
Yep.
There's C-better, bets 35 into 80. I just called. Everyone else folds. Turn is like a 6. Now there's 2 diamonds. He bets, I think, 65 or something, under half pot. I call, and then the river brings in a backdoor flush. He bets like 105, I think, well under half pot. I call and beat ace jack offsuit. And I had 3-bet the hand before with ace 4 suited. So I think if you're going to do that, the reason I think I should have stacked the guy, because I think the way 1-3 players think and how presumptuous they are, if I had just 3-bet this hand, he could call ace jack offsuit and just think, oh, he can have a small ace, and he's just going to check call as much as I put in. That's what I think could have happened. But I didn't 3-bet pre. I didn't raise the flop bet. I didn't raise the turn bet. I didn't raise the river bet. And I feel that when you're playing 1-3, if you feel like you got the best hand, you should just be raising pretty often. And what do you think of that? I mean, just the fact that I 3-bet the ace 4 suited the hand before. See, if I hadn't done that the hand before, and let's say I've been there for 10 minutes and nothing's happened yet.
He didn't even remember the hand before.
Well, we don't know what he remembered.
He just had ace jack, man. He had ace jack. He raised in the ace jack. He made these medium-ish, weakish bets, waiting to find out if he was going to win or if you were going to tell him that he loses.
He played the hand poorly too. I know.
These fishy, weak, tightish players cannot play ace jack in this manner against good players.
No, it's true. I don't know that he doesn't have a rule that he's going to fold this hand pre-flop. Like, he could also just do that. I mean, the way I'm too hard on myself is I think if I had done this, I would have 100% stacked the guy. And you're right, that's not necessarily true. He might have just folded at some point and I may have won less or who knows. But I just think that it's like go for thin value and try and get everything, try and thread the needle. And I couldn't believe I didn't do it.
I hate your river raise. If you decide to wake up on the river and make a raise here,
min raise.
No, not 1-3. No. 2-5. If you think that's the move against the, not 1-3. You're making a mistake. His range is so strong by the river there. I don't even know if I love your river call, but at that point you played your hand so bad that you had to call.
Oh, it's an easy call.
It is.
It's a very easy call.
I'm telling you, you're losing a lot there.
If he can beat my hand, he's going a lot bigger than 105.
I don't know. He wants to get called, man. It's 1-3. These guys don't. These are big bets. You can't start throwing. I deal 1-3 all day and all night. You don't see a lot of $220 bets, $250. It's just not the thing. Even when there's $455, $550 in the pot, the bet is still $150 on the river. And you know what the biggest mistake 1-3 players make?
No, what's that?
100% the biggest mistake is they squeeze too small.
Oh, the 3-bet sizes are way low.
Well, yeah, mostly in the squeeze spots, but I don't mind
smaller. You mean when there's like multiple players in the hand?
Yeah, it's like 15, call 15, call 15, and the small blind goes 60. Like, that's getting called at least. Maybe it gets through once in a while just because you're in a really weak game, but once that's called in one spot, nobody's throwing their hand away, and now you've created like a 4 or 5-way pot with a hand that you're not comfortable playing out of position, and it's very bad for them.
Yeah, I don't want to make a habit of playing 1-3 too much. It's not of some egoistic thing. Like, it's just this. There's not nearly enough money on the table for this to interest me, knowing how much money is on other tables, and that even though the game's going to play a lot differently, it's like I stand to win a hell of a lot more here. But the company of the 2-5 pool is so nitty, and the personalities are just as nitty. I mean, I don't know what to do.
Well, if this isn't about money, Dan, it's clearly not about money for you at this point. It's about trying to fulfill your life and get through your life here, basically. And what's
the next part after life? Yeah, how do we get through life?
But why not just play 1-3 for a year?
A year?
Dude, why not? See what you can do. It's not about the money. You will encounter more. An
experiment, you mean?
Yeah, you're gonna play against more fun people. You're gonna play in more fun games. You're gonna just play you're at no risk, and you're gonna now you're gonna see a different mindset of people as well. And I mean, maybe you can make 6 figures. I'm not even. I mean, that's too many hours. But what it would allow you to do is put in a lot of 2.5 to 5 hour sessions. Can put a couple sessions in a day once in a while. You hit up Mandalay and you play for a couple hours, go get lunch, and then hit the win on your way home for 4 hours. You can just have fun with it and just kind of...
I feel like I'm like Ricky Henderson and I'm like retired at age 48 and I'm playing for the fucking Long Island Ducks now. I mean, it's not... He probably loved it. He may have had more fun playing that than he did in the MLB for years. So... It's an interesting idea. I mean, you're right. It's got to be about what makes your heart smile. and it's definitely not the faces in the 2-5 pool.
Well, so but a little bit about me here is I played. One of the reasons I stopped playing poker was because my wife became sick. She had Huntington's disease, and she did pass 3 months ago. So I had to kind of stop playing poker in about 20. Even after I stopped, I still played a lot of No Limit, Dan, and I still won. Like, I was a very high win percentage player. I wasn't afraid to quick hit. I just get a couple hundred and get out of there. I'm still very capable of beating small No Limit games. Very different strategy.
No, I'm not saying you're that big of a fish.
No, yeah, of course. No, I think it
I probably wouldn't want you on the show if I thought you couldn't beat a 1-3 game.
No. But so now that my wife has passed, I have time again to maybe play some poker. I want to kind of get out there and play some 1-2, 1-3 No Limit again and see what I can do now.
Well, it's the most intense thing in the world, poker. So yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get over a significant setback like that, yeah, I mean, if you want your emotions to get crazy about something else, perfect is the perfect thing to play. I mean, that nothing tilts a person like poker does. So if you want to get tilted about something else, just go play poker. It's sure to satisfy.
Well,
or you'll win money and you'll be happy. So either way, you accomplish the mission.
Yeah, a lot of relief though. Actually, she was so sick by the last year and a half. It was getting scary. There wasn't.
What's her name?
My wife's?
Yeah.
Stacey May Chastain Phillips.
Stacey May Chastain Phillips. All right. Well, Merry Christmas from the Dead Money Heavens.
Yeah.
Chad's here. We're having a good chat.
Yeah.
That's like a longer name than Kate Winslet.
It's funny too because
Titanic.
The insurance companies are so ridiculous that we actually had to get that name. I ended up paying like $500 for 2 policies and for medical stuff and for I can't even remember what stuff is called already. My prenup. No, prenup. No, that's not the word. That's not prenup.
Prenup.
Oh my gosh. That might have to be edited. Or you just might leave it. No, what's power of attorney? Jeez,
oh, yeah.
The power of attorney. So I had to make sure that exact name was on like 3 different spots. It was such a pain. But
did she play or did you just hear the stories?
No, she didn't. She was just my home honey, and she was a very good person, and she was born obviously with Huntington's disease. If you don't know what it is too much DNA you're born with, and it depends on how much too much you have as to how sick you are. And she was about in the middle. She made it to her 50th birthday, and a lot of people die in their early 40s, and some make it to their early 60s, and some don't have it that bad, but you basically hit age 30, 31, 32, and you stop. You never learn another thing. You never make another thought, another adaptation. You only make thoughts that you've had, and they start to fade until your muscles start to tighten up on you, and you can't really... everything's just kind of locked up by the end, and you just have too much stuff running through you, if that's kind of the simple way to say it. Just too much going on, and women get it worse kind of than men do a lot of times. But her brother had it too. It's a DNA 50-50 shot when you're born, and her brother was 6'5" and like 190. So by the time like an average person burns 500 calories in 4 hours of watching television. She would burn 3,000 calories in 4 hours of watching television because they have chorea, which is basically Tourette's of the body, where you just kind of always moving and jittering, and it gets worse and worse. And so you just got to take in a ton of protein and a ton of stuff like that. But eventually you just can't keep up with it anymore. So
yeah, that sounds pretty hardcore. I mean, I've heard of the name of the disease. I had no idea what it did.
It's very scary, Dan. Some of the stories that you see online, on a forum, are the scariest things you've ever seen, because these people just carry on their normal lives of alcohol or hunting or just stuff that no. Like, I figured out what was going on, and I basically sheltered my wife, and I took everything away from her slowly, and it worked. It's what needed to happen. We had to get her off the road, which I kind of naturally did by just unplugging her car one day and saying it was broken, and we went with it, and we fought about it, and after a month, we forgot about it and we were off the road. And then we did the same thing with alcohol. We did the same thing with a lot of things things that you wouldn't even, that are so common that you do that you wouldn't even think you'd have to change. But like laundry, like dishes, like you name it, we had to end it. And we did. And we just went to existing. And I did exactly what I had to do to get her to the end and safe. And she was only in a home for 1 year and 1 month. And she probably should have been in a home for 4 years, but we just made it to the end as long as we could until she fell. And then we had to bring her to the hospital, and the hospital wouldn't send her home. They couldn't believe she was living at home, and they kept her and moved her to a couple facilities. It was all actually, from the stories that I read and I see, it was a really good transition of how we got it done. It was, I'm kind of proud of myself for sticking with her all the way to the end, and that's what we did. And now I'm kind of just been dragged back to work. Like I took 3 months off from work, and I've been dragged back and right into the thick of WPT and Christmas, and it's been kind of intense. And I just kind of wanted to stay on the golf course for another 3 fucking months, and that's where I was for the last 3 months, and it was wonderful. And now I'm okay. I'm totally okay. Like I was ready. I was prepared, and like I grieved while she was alive I really did grieve while she was alive. She was gone in coming into and out of COVID was when it really got noticed, because I stopped working. So, like my mom, like I didn't even notice a difference a lot of times. And then my mom would come visit once every year and a half, and she, what's wrong with Stacy? Like, what do you mean? Like, like I didn't really, it was a daily gradual decline. So.
Well, we're certainly very thankful at the Dead Money Studios to have you share us that story with us, that personal information with us. And I certainly don't mean to make any humor of your wife having Huntington's disease, but hearing you describe it, I could not help but think of the fact that almost every poker player has Huntington's disease. They hit a point where they cannot take in anything more. They cannot learn anything new. They cannot get better at anything. They're just stuck in this one place and then start deteriorating.
Hey Dan, just so you know, the dealing side, it's the exact same thing. Like, I understand that everybody has a ceiling of how good they can be at anything in life, whether you're playing baseball, football, darts, like you have a ceiling. You have to see what your ceiling is and recognize it. And I mean, that's all I think of in baseball is let's get high floor guys. Let's not get low ceiling guys. That's all you're thinking. And it's with dealers, they just stop. They just get to a point where they're dealing and they never try and get any more efficient. They never try and do anything different. And it's funny because I remember I told my boss that I was the best dealer in the room in like 2019 or 2020. And then he said to me, do you know how many people have told me they're the best dealer in the room? I'm like, yes, but I'm the best dealer in the room. And he just looked at me, and I don't know, whatever. I don't have to be the best, but
dealing poker, there is a lot of multitasking going on, and I think some people, they can pitch the cards and run the game, but just don't have, whether it's the brain power or just the ability to multitask, it's too fast for them to be doing 3-4 different things at once to keep the game moving. You sort of like playing poker, you're like juggling like 10 or 15 different bits of information at once. But when you're dealing, you're kind of doing the same thing. There's a lot of multitasking. You're doing the rack, you're doing the buttons, miss blind, people getting up. I mean, everything.
Everything. I would never let a player leave. Like, even other little things, like in a 1-3 table, always make sure you have a stack of red in the well. Like, I shouldn't sit down to a stack with 8 black chips and 1 red chip. Like, because what happens when this guy puts 100 on the table? I cannot believe how many dealers let these people put $100 bills on the table, and this guy's like, oh, you can borrow 100 from me. Like, why does he have to borrow 100 from you, dude? Just take 1 stack of 100 out of the well and give it to this player. Put the $100 in the well. Deal the hand. And now, when this guy raises 20, throw a black chip from the well to the guy that's sitting in the 2 seat. His name's Dan Arfin. He's in the 2 seat. He's got 1,300 on the table right now. He's only got 6 black chips. And he's goofy. Dan's very goofy with his chip stacking. He doesn't have much creativity, if anybody doesn't know Dan. None. It's kind of sad, actually. He maybe needs to go to a chip stacking school someday, but not yet.
It's completely standard every time.
It is just pathetic. But anyway,
all stacks of 20s.
So now Dan has 9 red stacks on the table. He doesn't need 9 red stacks on the table. So what you do is you take one black chip and you just throw it to Dan. You don't even ask Dan. You just throw it to him. Dan says, "Stack of red, please." And then Dan gives you a stack of red. You put it in the well. So now when the next player sits down 10 minutes from now, oh, look, you have another stack of red for that player so he can play poker when he sits down.
Wait, but there are players. See, you think it's fine for dealers to, like, sort of expect dealers to make change for them at the table? Like, what if they don't want to change up their chips?
Well, you got to be a good dealer, and you got to sense that this guy is from Israel. He's got a funny, these red chips. Don't ask this guy right now. He's not comfortable selling. Like, I know where I can go, and then maybe I buddy up with that Israeli guy, because that's what I'm always going to do. Any tourist that's straight in town at a 2-5 game, I'm always going to address him in some manner at some point during my down. Then I'm just going to say hello to him, whether I'm going to call him by name, whether I'm going to ask him where he's from, whether I'm going to ask him what soccer team he follows. That's a great one, because everybody from Europe and England, let's just say Europe, everybody from Europe has a soccer team they follow. So you can just ask them quick. And now they're in a good mood. They're Arsenal, boom. And then you forgot about that you asked him, but he likes me now. And now when I ask him for a stack of red halfway through my down, he's going to be so happy to cut that out for me. And now I've addressed him again. And now we've made more rapport with each other. So that's it. Minor rapport. I'm not going out of my way to talk my brains off to him, but I'm going to address him.
I have a question. What prompted you? You said you told one of your boss's supervisors that you were the best dealer in the room. What prompted you to say that to him?
Well, I went to, if you didn't know, I went to the floor. I was the high limit boss for 2.5 years. And so I came off dealing. I stopped dealing. And I ended up telling him that, like, when I was a floor man at some point.
Oh.
Like, it was probably a couple months, like, into my flooring. And I just I let him know still. I'm like, just so you know.
Oh, so this wasn't some dealer floor man argument where you're like, fuck you, I'm the best dealer in the room.
Actually, if you want more context, I had gotten to floor for 2 or 3 months. And I got to watch every single dealer in the room. I'm very good with people and remembering everybody like that. And
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people.
The funny thing is I don't have people skills, and that's why I can't be a floor. Is I have people skills in the fact I can remember everybody and I give good rapport, but I don't handle conflict and confrontation well. I don't know. But anyways, I was a floor for 2.5 years. I did it because we were so busy, and I was the best at doing it, and they knew it. And I had to do it for a while, basically. And I busted it out and floored for 2.5 years. And a couple of my good friends were the bosses at the time.
But you would probably prefer to deal, it sounds
like.
Oh,
100% would prefer to deal. But I floored for 2.5 years, and I got to watch every dealer in the room at one point or another. I always made sure I watched everybody deal. I had time to sit behind, stand behind always and watch. I could watch 3 dealers deal at the same time by standing in little corners of the room, and I got to watch, and that's when I told him, I'm like, just so you know, I'm still the best dealer in the room. And he's like, oh, you know how many people have told me that? I'm like, no, but now I see, like, I just got to see now that it's not even close. Like,
you confirmed it for sure.
I confirmed it, and I'm going to say there's 5 or 6 or 8 others that are very close to my, and if what if we took 15 different skill sets, like, and I'm a 9, 9.5, 9.5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 9.5, 9.5, 10, 9.5, 8, 8, 9.5, 10, 10, 10. Like, something like that. And somebody else might be a little better than me at this, and a little better than me at this, and a little better than me at this. But when you put all the skills you need to deal, like, I've made sure that I don't have any weaknesses anymore. I've done what I have to do to be strong all the time and get through. What I really like, though, is 5-hour shifts, Dan, let me tell you.
That's true. There were a lot of 5-hour shifts.
I can be the best dealer ever for 5-6 hours. But again, you give me, like, WPT, we just did it. I did, 100 hours in 2 weeks. I made a lot of, I took 3 months off, came back. Whew, boy, did I make a lot of mistakes. But what I do when I make mistakes is I handle them very quickly, and I acknowledge them, and I apologize for them when needed. And I make sure my mistakes are small. Like, it's not like I, burn and turn in a $2,000 pot, like, small mistakes, like, I didn't deal somebody in or something, little all the time. And
You said something that got me wondering now. You said you don't have people skills. Now I'm wondering if I have people skills. I mean, maybe I kind of do, or maybe I look like someone who won't, but I'm capable of it if I really try.
You know what?
I mean, what do you see from me when you're watching me deal with these fucking morons?
Could you be the shift boss of the room? No, you couldn't.
Why not?
Because you don't have the patience of people skills involved to deal with the nonsense from every single level that you would have to deal with. And you're going to feel the nonsense is coming from your bosses. That's where you're going to feel the nonsense is coming from. But really all the nonsense that you're dealing with is coming from the bottom, from all your... I mean, just think, we had 20 floors for the longest time, and now we have 70. So now you have to relate with 70 different floors you're managing, and plus you got to manage the 200 dealers that came in for that shift. And it's just so many different people. You have to have such a personality to be able to handle 6 different types of bullshit in 10 minutes, but it's not but it's not bullshit coming from these people because they may not be in the same place in poker. They're new dealers. Like, it's almost unfair that some of these dealers get hired and put into this because they're not ready for it. But at the same time, when you need so many dealers, you got to do it. And I mean, we do a damn good job of keeping the quality up for the size. But yeah, dealing is tough, man. It's tough to deal with so many different people all the time, and it gets more difficult as you become the bosses. Like, I tried to be a good boss, but my skill as the boss was speed and efficiency and getting things done. And I didn't say things the right way all the time. And it's tough.
It's a totally different job.
It's a totally different job. And it's tough. Like, I'm so instinctual sometimes, and I got to stop and think more often. And it was tough. I mean, I got through it, and I did a great job, I think. And I was very capable. And now that I see busy nights out there, I can run circles around people on the floor. But when it comes down to being a good boss, it really involves dealing very well with hundreds of people.
Isn't it true that dealers make more than the floor? That's what everybody says.
I mean, good dealers can, but remember.
So what's the promotion in being a floorman if you're making less fucking money?
Well, the difficulty in dealing in this city is getting high enough on the extra board to get shifts outside of big series. So these dealers that are sitting number 4, 5, 600 on our extra board, just picking a random number, we only need 400. So the top 400 are getting scheduled. And so, 450 to 650 are ready. 650 to 1,000 are traveling dealers. So they're not looking for shifts. We got another 100 that don't want shifts. So, we're able to get to 450, 500, get shifts. But there are a lot of people that are outside that. And maybe I'm saying way too many. Maybe we only need 200 or something. And, 250's struggling to get shifts. So they have to get a second job. So you get, a job at a different casino. And now you get to the summer and you're required to work 48 hours at each place. You can't get it done. You call in here, you keep the one you like best. You lose your spot at another one. And now that series is over. You're back to just 2 shifts a week or 1 shift here, 2 shifts. You got to get another job. So you just kind of running the rigmarole forever, working at every property eventually to, because you're in bad at one place and you don't want to work at this place and you got to work at these 2 to keep up. And it's tough to get shifts and get out. And then you don't get 8 hours. Now you're on that, you're not high on seniority. We were overstaffed a little bit to cover for call-ins and, if it's really busy. And the shift boss is, releasing dealers after 4.5, 5.5, 6 hours when it's slow season. So you just got 2 shifts this week and they were both 5 hours long.
So if you're doing flooring, does this sort of like help keep you in... It makes it easier to get a job as a dealer?
Oh, no. You're dual rate. You become a dual rate. So now you get 5 shifts a week or 4, maybe 4 when it's slow and 5, and you get 3 floor in a deal or 3 floor in 2 deal or when it's busy.
All right. So it just guarantees you more work.
Yeah. It guarantees you work. And the floor job's good. You know what? It's good to get that floor job. It's good. You know how nice it looks when I look around the room when I was flooring. It's 10 p.m. and I look and I see 8 dealers on this side of the room dealing 1-3. I'm like, wow, that's a floor. I'm like, wow, he floors at the Bellagio. Floor. I'm like, whoa, we got 8 dealers on this side of the room. We got a day 1 winner who's a rock. another day one winner who's a rock, and we got 5 floors. Like, how strong is this side of the room right now, dealing right now? Unbelievable, like, the skill set we have over here, and it's great to look at. That warms my heart.
I'll tell you what I think about floormen. They are overdressed for their position, because if you are wearing a suit to your job, to me that means you're important and competent. And most floormen are, in my opinion, are complete fools, and they shouldn't get to wear a suit. They should dress more casually, because the suit gives the impression that some of these people are smart and know what they're doing. And oh my God, I have wanted to impale almost every floor person that has ever come to my table to resolve an issue.
Yeah, well, that's funny that if floor people should understand that animosity that some players have toward them, because it might help them deal with the situations in that player, just understanding what you just said, basically. But when I was on the floor, I tried to do everything correctly, man. Like, I didn't blow any rulings. I didn't, I tried to always please the guest. And
isn't the rule book pretty big on poker?
It is.
I mean, and there's a lot of things that can come up. I mean, I think there's a lot of situations where I could use common sense and use the right discretion, but there's a lot of rules I just don't know.
We were the strongest ruling staff in the world when I was running High Limit, I feel. We had, the boss is now, I don't know, am I supposed to name names on this show? I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Don't use any fucking names.
No names.
No.
Yeah, no names.
We don't know where you work.
Yeah, all right, perfect. I don't know what I'm doing. But but no, we believe me, we had the right people. So my background was I was a minor league baseball umpire, Dan, 1999 and 2000 in the Cape Cod League and in the New York Penn League and
professional baseball.
No, not New York Penn League. What am I talking about? No,
the players are getting paid.
I don't know. I did a couple of games where they were, but no, I tried to become a professional umpire. I didn't pass the class down professional ball, so I came back up and I did college ball and amateur ball in Mass and Connecticut. I did it for like a year and a half, 2 years, and it kind of sucked. I didn't make a lot. I drove a lot, and it wasn't really that great. But
umpiring fucking blows, dude.
It does, man. It does. You know where it's at is basketball refereeing. Going against kids, 12 to 14-year-old, and you just go referee the games and get the hell out of there if you really have to work there. But umpiring blows, man. You are right. I was a very strong umpire, though, and I was rules umpire. But then I had to deal with the people, and it was so difficult dealing with crazy ex-Major League Baseball coaches, and it was impossible to deal with situations because you're never right. Like, they are always going to think you're wrong no matter what you called, and you can't win. It's just how you carry yourself out there was all of it. If you carried yourself amazingly, you got that respect you deserved, but once you lost that respect, you couldn't win out there.
Maybe you and I seem to be alike because I umpired, I dealt poker, and they're both very thankless jobs. So maybe is there a part of you that likes having this solo job where you don't have to rely on anybody else, you get to do everything yourself? I mean, maybe that's what attracted you to umpiring and dealing?
I just feel like
and playing.
Yeah, it did. I just try and do things as efficiently as can be, and I just don't get credit for it working at some tax service or accounting service, or it's just, I don't know. I wanted to do something where, I could kind of be myself, and man, I mean, it came down to the money, though. I just, what other skill set do I have to make $40+ an hour in life, was what I was looking at in 2013, 2014.
Without having to go to school, yeah.
I like poker. I just played and for a living for 12 years, and I realized, my income at Foxwoods, see, that was a mistake moving to Vegas for me, if you want the truth, because I had this cush little 10, 20, 20, 40 scene of 200 players at Foxwoods, total. It was 200 total players that I could play against, and it was going to be one of these 70, 90% of the time. They never, they don't get any better. They stopped learning. It was insane. And think of how bad poker was back in 2003, 4, 5, 6, how bad the players were. They just didn't get better at any point, and they all played the same game. So I could just play a nitty kind of limit game and, book a lot of wins and then you move to Vegas, and all of a sudden the player pool is bluffing me out, and it was just totally different. So you start taking a stand, and that didn't work, and maybe it was variance, maybe my skill set wasn't what it needed to be to beat Vegas games, but, I figured it out pretty quick.
How many hours would you play a year playing Limit Hold'em? Do you remember?
I had a couple of illegal cars back in Massachusetts that weren't registered or wasn't necessarily road legal. So I would get in my car at 6 p.m. in the middle of rush hour and drive the 1 hour south to Foxwoods in the middle of rush hour. So I just get in traffic and go down. And then I would play until 6 a.m. and I would get back in traffic and drive home. And I did that probably 500 times. And then I made a lot of money, and then I registered my car. And,
I mean, when you play No Limit, you can get death by 1,000 cuts like you can in Limit. Of course, you get your head chopped off all at once a lot in No Limit too. So there's two ways you can die, basically. But when you're playing Limit, I mean, it's this defined structure. You're just getting hacked 20s at a time, 10s and 20s. That no matter how big the pot is, 20. I mean, it's like it didn't tilt the shit out of you. I mean, beyond the point where you could play it, because when I was lost, didn't know when I wasn't, well, not lost, just not playing for a while. When I was thinking about coming back, at times I visualized playing Limit for like a week. I never actually did it. I didn't take one hand, other than the hands I fucked around with once in a while years ago. But like, I didn't even play 1 second of it. Thought about trying to just take on the 2040 at the Bellagio because I know it's probably pretty soft. But I
Time dependent. Wednesday 4 p.m. No. Friday 9:30 p.m. Yes.
Okay, all right. You got to be very selective.
Very, because they're all playing together. They all know each other. It's the same 40 people, and they're not bad players at all. And some of them might even be good players.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I didn't do it. I mean, it's the psyche of Limit and No Limit are just opposite ends of the pole. Like, you have like David Skolansky's book, which changed poker.
We deal with it. He plays 1-3 to win.
He's a Limit poker
all the time, man.
No, I know. I see him once in a while pop in for an hour or two. I've seen him at 2-5.
Yeah, he plays pretty good still. I mean, he's tight.
I mean, yeah. I mean, right. He doesn't think like a No Limit player thinks, like a true No Limit player. He's the one who got poker really put on the map, but he was a Limit player.
I can relate to his mindset as good as anybody's, just so you know, because I see his game and how he doesn't really want to be there playing No Limit, and it's kind of been the same. That's how it was for me back when it first changed. Like, now I have accepted that I could probably do okay in some No Limit games if I went out and played. But I was scared to play No Limit. I didn't want to lose $1,000 on one night. Not like that. I don't know. It's just too weak-minded, I guess. I worked too hard for my money, and I didn't have a lot of it. I didn't want to give it away or get into. You know what else I always heard was that poker players go broke. That everybody goes broke at least twice in their life, and I'm like,
bullshit. Not if you're good.
Well, yeah. Well,
not if you're really good.
Well, back in the day, that was what you heard, though. How many times these guys?
Well, they're probably starting with really small bankrolls. Ooh, we got phone calls. He probably had really small bankrolls, right?
No, I'm talking about like
they say around
those guys, all
time
those
to time,
guys.
Everybody goes bust. Like, well, what are we doing this for then? Who wants to fucking go bust?
Well, I just kind of heard that everybody goes broke once in their life and they have to come back. And
no, I know that it's been rumored and spoken around. I just find it a little hard to believe.
I guess I was naive then, and I just didn't want to go broke, and I just thought that that's how you did it. And
well, Limit's like shooting at a target, right? But in No Limit, the target shoots back at you, which is, makes it more interesting, I guess.
Well, you got to tell yourself when you fold your set on the river to the one bet, when the flush card comes, the old lady leads out, and you're like, it's 100% she has that flush. She's not turning anything else over. The deuce of spades just fell in the river. She's not just leading random, two pair that she has.
Yeah, it is what it is. She made her hands. Sometimes you make a hand, sometimes they make a hand.
But you got to fold that. Save that $20 or $40, whatever that river limit bet is.
Didn't they call that trust folds in the limit structure, where it's like you're getting 50 to 1, but it's like there's just not even a 2% chance they're bluffing. They just have it.
Well, see, that's why I stopped being able to play poker for a living, is because when I moved to Vegas, the trust fold wasn't working anymore. Honest to God, I could make that trust fold at Foxwoods. I could make it all day long and all night long. The player pool was so predictable, it was unreal. And then I moved to Vegas, and I didn't realize I just thought that's how people played because I was trained that way for 5, 6, 8 years of playing at Foxwoods as I moved up from 4-8 to 10, 20, 20. I'm like, wow, they all play the same. Like, nobody's good. They're all just limit weak tights. And then I moved to Vegas and I folded a couple times for $1,200 in the middle for $40 and was dead wrong. And that leads to some tilt. And then all of a sudden you can't win them. You know, you can't have a winning session. And yeah, it goes quick. It goes really quick. And, sometimes you're winning and you can't remember what it was like to lose, and then you're losing and can't remember how to win a pot.
Oh, yeah, look, no matter what game you're playing exactly, you all go through those cycles. So were you planning to just continue to play Limit for, like, indefinite amount of your life? Like, when No Limit started taking over, were you sad, or were you kind of glad that you could get out of the playing poker life it is and just change and start dealing now?
I don't even know if I know the answer. My wife got sick. It was just convenient. My good friend became the boss, and I started helping him, and then I started working, and I just kind of, I was still playing. I was playing 90%, working 10%, and then it was 80-20, and then it was 50-50, and then all of a sudden I was getting called in. We were getting busier and busier and busier, so I was getting 4 or 5 shifts a week, and when you're in the casino 40, 45 hours a week, you don't want to go play. Like that, it didn't matter my whole life. I couldn't play more than 40 hours a week either when I was playing. So now that I'm dealing 40, you think I want to deal 40 and play 25? Like, no, man. It became impossible once I started working full time to want to play. People burn out of this so fast. I'm trying to keep it. I'd like to work 25 now and play 10 to 15. That would be a very nice little mix going forward.
Do they got you doing today?
Yes.
And it's more pleasant to do on Christmas Day,
no
probably.
Tournament today.
Oh, no, so he's dancing. I mean, but I would hope that if there's ever a day players are maybe a little nicer to play poker is on Christmas. I don't think I would be, but, for as far as anybody else goes.
Well, we said this, half an hour ago. Yeah, absolutely. Last night was a very pleasant shift.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Everybody was very pleasant, and it's going to be the same tonight, and not necessarily, hoping I get tipped more. Like, that's not really my goal. Like, if I work 1,700 hours this year, I'm going to make this much money. Like, it doesn't really matter, like, what I get tipped today or tomorrow or at table 12 or... That's the other thing. Let's go back to ripping dealers. Like, they live and die by the down. Like, or the brush. The brush is in the rotation. That was the trick to get the full-timers to leave early. Like, we got 8 full-timers... And it's slow. These 8 full-timers aren't going anywhere. So all the temps that come in, they only get 2 hours because there's no extra. We only need 12 dealers right now, and we got all these full-timers here. So the trick was, let's throw a shout out to Mr. Poncho Hoffman, John Hoffman. He passed away 8 years ago. The best poker suit ever to put a poker suit on, ever.
Yes, John deserved to wear the suit.
John was the glue to every aspect of life, and he was unbelievable, man. That guy was able to solve any problem that came up without even lifting a finger, man. He was just so natural in his ability to sway to the left and sway to the right, and 2 guys are fighting and they'd be shaking hands, and 10 seconds later, he was just amazing with people.
It was an old school, classic Vegas way you're supposed to act, the way you're supposed to treat people. Now it's a lot of just... Vegas is still very, very cool. It's very cool. I love Vegas, but yeah, there's a lot of fucking morons here.
50, 100. He could get a 50, 100 game going in an hour, by the way, too. An hour.
He could get players to want to play.
Just boom, the whole room, 50, 100, 2 games going, boom, just like that, an hour, yeah. If the right, like, there used to be this Japanese singer, and he wanted to come play quarter 50, and... Man, the second he was in town, boom, there was 2 full games going. It was automatic. Like, the guy was great too. He was one of the nicest guys, and he didn't care if he lost, $50,000. That was back then. It was just that was a 5-10 uncapped a lot of times. They didn't even need to play green because it was just 5-10 uncapped. Put the straddle on. You're playing 10-20, and they were the bet sizing wasn't as expertise at that point. Pots kind of got inflated a little quicker at times. Then you see them get inflated today. A lot of more pro bets being used these days. A lot of little small minimum continuation bets now. Those C bets used to be, a lot bigger and things escalated quicker.
Yeah, that's something I never even thought of what you mentioned about John a second ago. How a floor man could actually have an influence on big games even happening. Just the way you greet the players, what they ask, what you tell them. He treats them in a way that just makes them think, all right, let's play.
Man, he was also good at picking the right lineups. Like, I don't even take that for granted. Like, you can't quantify that you got to get the right people together. You can't get 5 whales and 3 pros and whatever. I don't know what the ratio actually is, but get the couple of pros there that that you're friends with in Vegas that have been been taking care of you for years, and they're waiting for this spot, and then get the 2 whales that are in town, and then and then get a few guys that you want to make some rapport with, and you build a line. You're building a baseball team at the poker table, a 9-handed team.
Maybe I'll try to be a little more, I don't know, maybe just excited by how great it is to walk into a poker room and have all these interesting things circulating around the room at all the times, and maybe I should try and be a little less pissed off at the people I'm playing with.
I mean, if you play 1-3 for a while, maybe you just set it up as a 3-month experiment. Like, try and play 300 hours. 100 hours a month, I think you can pull that off. That's not too many. I'll even play a quarter of those hours with you if I can get... I always needed somebody to teach me how to play No Limit a little better, but now I've got to watch so much play, and I see everything, man. I'm literally seeing everything that everybody's doing, and I know who's good, and now I get to listen to your hand history, which has been really helpful to me, because you understand that there's nobody playing like you in the whole whatever, like nobody. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I that's what I feel.
There's literally not one person. Like, I remember when you said at the beginning that you haven't known me that long, but I think I want to say I first dealt to you in 2014. And you were the first player I watched that I thought was good. Like, I actually thought you were good. And I didn't get to see your cards, and I didn't understand as much as I do now. But now, we got to watch Adam Walton play, which was actually a blessing for me to watch that play. That opened my eyes up to what can be done.
No, he's remarkable.
And, because he's definitely V-pipping higher than you. It's not even close.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, okay. But
at least in his time. I mean, I don't know if he would get away with that as well today, but whenever he was out there, I mean, Adam and the aforementioned Mike Zulker are certainly playing some very high-level, interesting stuff. Adam is a crazy man to perfection, as close as you can get to perfection at 2-5, and Mike's medieval times. He's on the horse and he's jousting with the other warriors. Mike is there to get shit done.
He didn't play too... I've seen Mike in a 2-5 game a few times, maybe more so 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. I think now it's 5-10 that if he's going to play.
Yeah, he played a lot of 2-5 when he was a lot younger.
Yeah, okay.
And he was like the guy during that time as well. And then Adam was the guy during his time. And these last few months, I still feel like I'm the guy, but the results are not showing at all. I'm getting wrecked. But, all right, well,
this is going to swing your results right here. Today is going to swing
1-3, I'll think about it. I'll think about it, Chad. Thank you for the advice. Thank you for all the insights and looks into dealing, and especially the rack. So that'll be all for today, ladies and gentlemen. Happy belated Christmas, since I don't know what day I'm going to publish this. And we'll talk to you again soon about hands and 1-3 and dealing, and especially the rack. We'll see you next time.
Bye.